And action!
You press play?
Yep. No, I pressed record. I didn't press play.
Who is it?
Hi, I'm Kathy Papadopoulos from American Income Life, and I received a card from you regarding your no-cost benefits that you filled out for. You'll see here, you filled out the card from your local,
Okay.
and you're going to receive a $3,000 no-cost benefit. So,
Okay.
can I come in?
Yeah.
Great. Is there a table we can sit at?
Yes.
It'll make the presentation go a lot faster.
Okay.
So, I'm going to enter in some information about you, just to confirm. So, how do you spell your first name, Mariah?
M-O-R.
I-A-H. Okay. So, how long have you lived here?
About 2 years.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
And I see some toys. Does that mean you have a little baby?
Yeah.
Does she keep you busy?
Mhm.
Because a lot of them are pink, so
Yeah.
I'm just assuming it's a girl.
Yeah.
Right. So, I noticed a lot of flowers and everything. Did you get to plant those, or were they already here?
They're already here. We rent the house.
But you do have to water them. You have to be watering them to make them
Yeah.
look so good. Yeah, that's really nice. I tend to plant things and then forget to water them. So, you know, but they're fun to have, especially if you can get them to the flower stage and cut them.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. So tell me how to. And your last name is
M-A-N-N.
okay. And what's your birth date?
July 17th, 1995.
July 17th. Is that a Leo?
Cancer.
Cancer. Okay. Leo starts when? It's later on, isn't it?
It's
In the
August.
August. Okay. 1995. So you're in the union. Which one? Are you a part of the 2W3?
Yeah.
And you have one dependent? Okay. So the reason that I'm here today is to deliver your no-cost benefits. And our program comes in 3 parts. The first is to go over your no-cost benefits. The second part, which I think is the most important, is you have the opportunity to sponsor family and friends for the same no-cost benefits. And the third thing is we'll go over additional benefits that you may qualify for. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. So the first video we're going to watch is one about your union and their relationship with AIL.
Your union has entered into an agreement with our company, American Income Life, to provide valuable benefits to its members. We proudly proclaim our status as a 100%
We're also union.
labeled company. From the representatives in the field who write an application, to the administrative staff in the home office, all the way up to the president and CEO.
He used to be over
and we wouldn't have it any other way.
over our
From the
manager's
beginning,
office.
we have operated in the spirit of be union, by union. Wherever and whenever there is an opportunity to further the cause of labor, we are the first in line.
And I want to thank American Income Life for the role that you play as part of the labor family and as a union label provider of protection. And quite frankly, for all the things that you do to support John Sweeney and Linda Chavez Thompson and myself and America's working family. And I can tell you something, we're stronger and the country's better off because of what you've done to help us. And I can't convey that enough to you. On behalf of 13.5 million Americans that are part of the labor movement, 40 million Americans in union households. You make our lives better. I want to say thanks on every one of you.
We are an international company with thousands of representatives. When selecting an insurance company, customers want a company they can depend upon to pay claims. We have earned the A+ superior rating for overall financial strength from AM Best Company, one of the country's oldest and most respected insurance ratings companies. Your representative will show you the valuable offers and benefits made available to you by your union.
So does that make sense?
Mhm.
About our relationship. The next video is going to be about AIL's culture, and we believe that if we're going to work in the community, then we need to give back to the community.
At AIL, giving back is our core philosophy. From the home office staff to our field representatives around the world, helping others is at the foundation of our company. One of the ways we give back to the communities we work in is by providing food to families in need. In fact, your representative will ask you to donate a canned food item today for our local food bank. Our Closer to the Heart program of charitable giving was founded in 2012 as an added way to give back to the communities where we live, work, and visit. We partner with local organizations and help by making financial donations and participating in hands-on volunteer projects whenever possible. Other ways we give back to the communities where we live and work include providing no-cost benefits that help working people in areas of need in their everyday
That's what
lives,
you're going to be
and
getting.
offering a no-cost individual or family needs analysis, which assists families in the prevention of potential economic disasters. With this philosophy, we are also proud to serve our community by providing an exciting and rewarding opportunity to those living within it.
After graduate school, a close friend of mine that was working with American Income Life suggested that I interview with the company. After having a chance to learn about the company, I fell in love with its mission and its culture of serving people. I've been with the company for 10 years now. I love the fact that I can have the opportunity to operate as if I'm owning my own business and at the same
He's
time have the
actually over
support of a
Houston
large
office.
international company. I would absolutely recommend that anybody share this opportunity with close friends and family members who can change their lives as it's changed mine.
You probably know someone who is unemployed, underemployed, or dissatisfied with their current job. We're looking for self-motivated, career-minded people who love making a difference and helping others. Who do you know that is looking for a long-term career opportunity or just desires a better life for themselves and their family?
So, as I said earlier, AIL believes that if we work in the community, we want to give back to the community. And one of the ways is to offer jobs for those that are looking for a career change, a new job. Maybe they want to move up in a company, or it could be it's their first time job. So do you know anyone that's looking for employment right now?
No, not right now.
No one? What I'll do is I'll leave my card with you today, and if you think of anyone, just have them give us a call, because we're recruiting and interviewing every week. Okay? It's a great company to be with. So, nothing right there. Also, you noticed we also do a food drive. When we leave today, when I leave today, if you have a canned food item, we'd love to have you donate that
Okay.
to our non-perishable food drive. So the benefit we're going to go over right now is your AD&D, accidental death and dismemberment policy. That's no cost to you, that your union set up for you. And basically, the video we're going to watch is kind of tells you about what would you do in an accident, you know, if you're covered, if you had an accident. So we'll go ahead and watch that, and then we'll talk about
We
the
see
policy.
the headlines every day. Drunk driver kills wife and mother. Accidental shooting proves fatal. ATV accident claims life. of a loved one is very troubling. It's also troubling how frequently an accident takes the life of someone.
Have you had anyone that's had an
When you consider
accident
that millions of people seek
lately
medical
where it was
attention for accidental
devastating?
injuries each year, you want to protect your family, both physically and financially. We have partnered with your organization and are happy to be here today to deliver this no-cost AD&D benefit. At this time, your agent will record your beneficiary information and provide your no-cost accidental death and dismemberment certificate of coverage. We recommend that you keep this in a safe place with your other important papers so it may be easily found in an emergency.
So this is your actual policy. As being a part of the union, all you have to do is just, it has all your information on there. We have record of it, and you'll just need to file it away in a safe place. So your union name, and they're offering you $3,000. So I do need you to put your name, your address, your beneficiary, their relationship to you, and I do need you to sign and also date it, your date of birth. And then on the bottom, if you want to go ahead and include an emergency contact,
Okay.
we'll keep the very, very bottom, we'll keep that portion. Okay. Do you have any questions as far as the AD&D policy, what it covers?
Yeah, how does it pay out?
Okay, so if you happen to lose one limb, your hand, your arm, your leg, your foot, it's going to pay half of the face value, which would be $1,500, or the loss of eyesight in one eye. If you happen to lose double, like 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 feet, it would pay the full face value of $3,000. If you happen to pass away due to the accident, it would pay the full face value to your beneficiary. So with those emergency contacts, and the emergency contacts need to be local and also over the age of 18. If you happen to pass away with your beneficiary in a common accident, then they would need to have that information. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got everything filled out, and we have your 2 beneficiaries as well. So let me tear off what I need for the home office, and then you'll just put that in a safe place. The next no-cost benefit that we have is the no-cost health card, and this goes along with your health insurance. It's just a supplement. It just offers additional benefits.
Want to drive down the cost?
Due to the value overwhelmingly.
So the next part of our video is really, I think, one of the most important features of our program is that you have the opportunity to sponsor friends and family for the same no-cost benefits. And the next video will tell you a little bit about our sponsorship program.
And positive response for these no-cost benefits. American Income Life is allowing you the privilege to sponsor friends, family, co-workers, and neighbors to receive similar benefits.
So you can kind of think
at
about
no
who would
cost.
benefit from a
Most
no-cost
families are eager to share these valuable benefits.
AD&D policy.
Who would you like to sponsor first?
So we've tried to simplify this. We have a homework sheet where we ask for at least 10 referrals people that you can sponsor. It can be family, friends, co-workers, and once you give that to me, I'll take a snapshot of it. I'll keep the snapshot and leave this with you. So if you want to go ahead and pull out your phone, and I need their name and their phone number. And then what I'll do is I'll send you a text that you can forward to them, just introducing me, basically saying, you know, I've just met with Kathy, and she's going to be calling you about the no-cost benefits that have been offered. So, just forward that, the text I'm sending you, directly to them. Did you receive it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So as soon as I leave, if you'll just call them, I'll leave this with you so you'll remember who you put down.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much for those 10, because we'll be able to meet with all of them individually and see what their needs are. The next part of our program
Since birth,
is going to talk about the different kinds of life insurance and what there are different types, and it's going to explain a little bit about it.
and each day preparing for the future. Each milestone the result of hard work and planning. But have you prepared financially for the
Have you
inevitable?
had anyone that's died
The top 5
recently?
causes of death in America are heart disease, cancer, stroke, chronic lower respiratory diseases, and accidents, unintentional injuries. Life changes in a heartbeat. Are you prepared? Life insurance can help take care of your family financially, so they won't be burdened with outstanding expenses when you die.
I've talked to
But
people
many
that
of us
really
don't
weren't
understand
prepared,
how
the
life
families
insurance
weren't
works,
prepared, and it
the
was a
types of life insurance, or
hardship
how our needs change
to
as our
take care of
lives
their final
change.
expenses. So,
First, let's look at how life insurance works. Life insurance pays a specific benefit amount upon your death. You choose the benefit amount that is right for your family based on your needs. The top 2 reasons people purchase life insurance are to pay for final expenses and to help cover the loss of income in the event of an unexpected death. People also purchase life insurance for mortgage protection, so their family won't lose their home due to a breadwinner's loss of income. Additionally, many people purchase life insurance in the event they die. They help ensure their children can pay for their education. It's guaranteed that everyone will die. The only unknown is when.
yeah.
Will your family be able to maintain their standard of living and achieve the dreams you share? The next step is for our representative to do a needs analysis to help make sure you're prepared.
So the next, like they said, the needs analysis, I'm going to ask you just a few questions. So let's add your daughter. What is her name?
Harper
And her last name?
Jackson.
And she's a female. And what's her birthday?
8/10/2018.
8. Okay. So there's a few health questions and then some other questions. So have you had internal cancer in the past 2 years, breast, colon, pancreatic, uterine?
No.
Are you insulin diabetic? Any cardiovascular disease such as heart attack, stroke, peripheral vascular disease?
No.
Are you currently using oxygen?
No.
How about a terminal illness? Okay. Alzheimer's? Have you used any form of tobacco in the last 12 months?
No.
And are you currently on parole or probation? Have you ever been arrested or convicted of a DUI?
No.
So how much is your monthly take-home pay after taxes and insurance?
Probably 1,200.
Okay. And do you have any life insurance through work? Okay. How about any life insurance outside of work?
No.
Whole life or term, neither. And do you rent or own?
I rent.
Okay. And have you saved anything for Harper's education yet?
No.
And do you use checking or savings?
Checking.
Okay. So I'm going to submit this and see what it recommends for you, see if there's any gaps in your coverage. Okay. So it did come up with several things here that we're going to go through. Your final expenses, income protection, child's education. So we're going to continue through, and I'll explain a little bit more of that.
Okay.
So the first thing is the mandatory read-off letter that I have here, and I'll just summarize it to you. What it's basically saying is, as I'm going through the program and giving you the different options, if you're shaking your head and you're saying to yourself, wow, I like these benefits, then I would say go ahead and enroll today. And if I'm going through the program and you're shaking your head and you're thinking, I really like these benefits, but it's not a good time, then I'm saying don't enroll today. Either or, a decision needs to be made because because we have other members to see, we're not able to come out a second time. So a decision needs to be made. It's your unions put these benefits together, and it's kind of a no-brainer as far as what we're offering. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the first thing that they've recommended is your need for final expense protection. Do you know how your final expenses would be taken care of if you passed away today?
No, not really.
Okay. That's something we really don't talk about a lot, but it is real. It's kind of like it says, it's not when you're going to die, but it's not if you're going to die, it's when you're going to die. So the next video is going to talk about some of the program, what we have as far as taking care of your final expenses, immediate coverage.
The warmth of family is one of the most beautiful and valued things in life. For this reason, saying goodbye to a loved one can be difficult, and even more so when we are not prepared. The emotional distress adds to the financial burden. It can be devastating to lose the family savings or even the family inheritance. The average cost of a funeral continues to rise, and these expenses can be higher depending on where you live. Keep in mind that funeral and cemetery expenses increase each year due to inflation and other economic factors.
It really continues to go up. It's crazy how much all of it costs.
The cost of a funeral will have risen above $30,000. Expenses become even more overwhelming when you consider that Social Security only pays a $255 death benefit, and that's if you qualify. That still leaves all of the expenses for your family to cover. The last thing we want is to leave our loved ones in this kind of situation when we perish, isn't it? That's why it is important to anticipate for future events with preparation. Otherwise, who would be responsible for those unforeseen and sometimes escalating expenses that no one is ready for? We all want our last goodbye to bring comfort and leave a loving memory of us in the hearts of our loved ones. However, these good feelings can be diminished when we do not have coverage for final expenses, and a burden is presented that could mean thousands and thousands of dollars. For this situation, American Income Life recommends our whole life policy along with the Freedom of Choice certificate. The process is simple. and can be used to cover your final expenses up to the face value of your policy. Your beneficiary takes the certificate to the chosen funeral home, agrees to the service details, and writes the total amount on the back, signs
really
it,
simple.
and hands the certificate to the funeral home director. When the service is needed, the funeral home director calls the number on the certificate to speak directly to a claims representative. Payment is made directly from our company to the funeral home, and the remainder, if any, is paid to the beneficiary in a lump sum check. The decision is simple, and your family deserves it. Obtain final expense coverage, which allows you to have the Freedom of Choice certificate. That way, you will help avoid many problems for your loved ones. Today, you can enjoy the tranquility of knowing, in that inevitable moment, there will be peace. If you're giving them the best today, prepare for tomorrow. Leave them only beautiful memories. Love is shown with action.
So the freedom of choice is something that AIL actually patented, and no one has anything like this in the industry. But it's really, really simple. When you sign up and I walk out the door, then you're covered. And basically, you're going to put your freedom of choice certificates in a safe place, let your beneficiaries know about it, and this is the way it works. So I don't know if you know that state law is an insurance company has 140 days that they have to pay out a claim, but because a funeral home can't get collateral from the person that's died, they expect their payment immediately in order to move forward. And we've heard some horrible stories about the body having to just kind of be on hold and the services be on hold. But with the freedom of choice, your family can go in and make the arrangements, never even letting the funeral director know that they have insurance, negotiate the best price, because if they go in and say, I have a $10,000 life insurance policy, more than likely the funeral is going to be how much?
A lot.
A lot, probably the $10,000, and you won't get anything back. But with the freedom of choice, they negotiate the best amount, and then they go outside or wherever they've kept this, bring it back in. They've assigned, let's say they negotiate the funeral for $5,000, assign $5,000, the policy number to whatever the funeral home is and their address. They date it and they sign it in front of a witness and go back, and this is their payment for your services. The funeral home then will sign this form as well as send an invoice, whatever AIL requires, and then they, within a couple of days, will receive their payment in full. The balance to your policy will be sent to your beneficiaries, whatever that may be. So that's really simple. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think it also provides such a peace of mind knowing that there's not going to be a burden on your family. So they've recommended coverage at $30,000 as what you're going to need, and that's taking an inflation. Right now, a regular funeral average cost is about $15,000, and in 20 years, they're looking at it to be closer to $30,000. So that's the inflated amount. Does that make sense? Okay. So the next one is your monthly income protection. So, you know, your salary will die when you die, and that also creates a hardship for your family. So the program takes into account what you make, and normally they'll do an estimate for 3 to 5 years of income protection. So your family has time to get your estate settled, and it's not such a burden with a lifestyle change. So this is going to tell you a little bit about our income protection.
Is the economic heartbeat of your family. It pays your rent, utilities, car payment, medical insurance, groceries, incidentals, leisure.
Don't realize you paid all those
Most
things
families
out,
take
do
this for
you?
granted until it stops. It is an economic heart attack. AIL's Income Protection Program, funded by term insurance, keeps your income flowing, which keeps economic life in the family. Our recommendation is that you provide up to 5 years of income replacement to take care of your family after you're gone, which would give your spouse and loved ones time to adjust to their loss, both emotionally and financially. If you died tomorrow, wouldn't you want your loved ones to know that you were thinking of them today?
So, what would happen if you passed away as far as your bills, commitments, any debt that you may have? I mean,
They all have to be stopped.
stop quickly and everything. Would how would Harper? I mean, would there be income there? Do you have any savings or anything like that that could help during that transition? Okay. So with that income protection, it will recommend how many years, and let's see. So they've recommended 5 years at $72,000 of your income. What, does that make sense? Does that amount sound okay? Okay. So also they've recommended a need for your child's education. At this point in your life, there's a greater chance that you'll die by an accident, and that's basically it's an accident, accidental death policy. And they're looking at, they put together that amount based on current education costs and also what they see it's going to be due to inflation. So we'll go ahead and look and see what they recommended, as well as watch the video that explains.
As parents, you hope to see your children go to college. You know the difference a college degree could make in your children's future earning potential.
Did you have to
But
have
if you
student
died
loans?
and your income was
Yeah, I
no
have student
longer there
loans.
to help your children with their
You
future
know then how
education,
expensive it
how would
is.
they
Yeah.
afford to go to college? Your unexpected death could mean your children won't be able to afford a college education. They could miss out on this opportunity and a lifetime of extra earnings. An accident can happen to
What's really
anyone,
great about this
at
is it
any
also,
time, and in any
it's not going
place.
to go to the
No
institution.
matter what your
It will
age
go
or
to the beneficiary,
circumstances, you
because
or a
your
family
child may end
member
up
could
going a
be
different
victim.
route, or a trade school,
It is
or
also
where they're not going to
how
go to a
frequently
four-year
an accident
college.
takes the life of someone. Protect your child's education in the event of your accidental death. Have you considered how expensive your child's college education will be? The total average cost of a college education continues to rise, no matter if your child plans to attend a 2-year college, a 4-year university, or obtain a postgraduate degree.
It's crazy, the
If the
amounts.
price of sending a child to college increased at its current rate annually for the next 10 years, the cost of a college education could seem out of reach. How will your child pay for college if you aren't there? And what will it cost your children and their children if each generation of their family can't afford to earn a college degree? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, nearly 1.5 million over their lifetime of earnings.
It's incredible to know how
What
much
would
of a
it be worth
difference
to
it
you
makes.
to give your child $1.5 million of earning potential over their lifetime? You can easily see the true value of your child's education in total lifetime earnings. Even in tough economic times, the rate of unemployment for individuals with a bachelor's degree or higher is about half the rate of unemployment for those with only a high school diploma. You can make plans now to ensure your child can afford to attend college if you aren't there to help pay for it. Don't let them miss out on the opportunity for a lifetime of extra earnings to provide for their families.
So the next thing we're going to see is the recommendation for Harper's Education, and they're recommending $73,920. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Preparing ahead, so if you did pass away, then her education would be taken care of. So we're seeing the final expense at $30,000. That's the amount that's spent that contains inflation, and the $20,000 is partial inflation. The next benefit that we have here is income protection, and they've recommended the $72,000 for 5 years. And there's also the term life accidental death, and that's basically a policy for term life policy that will cover Harper's Education for $73,920. So we have, to recap, we have final expenses covered. We have the amount for inflation at $30,000, and with partial inflation for $20,000. We have your income protected, and we have also an education fund for Harper. There's also some riders that come with that. Children's rider, you automatically have a $10,000 policy for Harper if she passed away. So you could take care of her final expenses. There's also a rider, a terminal illness rider. Let's say you became ill and had a year to live. You could withdraw up to 50% of the face value of the policy, to pay off bills, pay, just a bucket list kind of thing. And you also have a layoff waiver and a strike waiver. The layoff would be for 90 days. We would pay your premium. You don't have to pay it back. Mm-hmm. And then also a strike waiver up to a year. We're union owned, and your workplace is union. So that's one of the great benefits. And we also have the waiver of premium. Let's say, for whatever reason, you had to terminally ill, you could also have the premium waived because of the policy for Harper. So it's given you just one option that I can see, and okay, let's look really quick. There we go. So to recap, we have you covered for your final expenses, your income's protected, and Harper's Education Fund is there. You're taking the first steps to protecting your family if something happened. So you have two options. You have A, at this amount, which will include $30,000 final expenses with inflation, or you have the lower amount, which is actually $20,000 final expenses with partial inflation. Which option would be less of a burden for you? We wouldn't want to take any food off the table.
I have to think about it.
So you remember, Mariah, that mandatory read-off letter that I went over today, that you have to make a decision today. That's what the unions basically tell us to do, that they've gone over all these benefits, they've checked them as far as rates and approved them. They want us to come out and meet with each of you. But a decision has to be made today for us to move forward, or for this offer to be extended. A decision would have to be made today.
Mm-hmm.
So which option would be best, A or B?
I don't think I can afford it.
Okay, you know, there are many, many people that would pay anything to have coverage like we're offering you today. But, you know, you're in the best health of your life right now because of your age and your health, and this is the best rate you'll ever get. So what option would you like, A or B?
I still don't think I can afford that.
So let's look and see what we can do. We can actually drop down your income protection to 3 years. And let's look and see what that might be. There's maybe a couple of little things we can do here. And so I've taken down your income protection to 3 years. So here are your two options here.
You can also, instead of touching the income, you want to do the final expense first.
We can go with the final expenses partial inflation.
No, I mean, like, you can drop it down from 30 to 15.
How do these? So we have an partial inflation at this amount, or inflated amount at this amount. A or B, which one looks best for you?
A.
A, so the lower amount. So we have, just to recap, we have your final expenses at $15,000. We have your income protection 5 years at $72,000, and we have we have Harper's Education Fund at $73,920. So I just want to make sure that this amount will work for your family. Okay. So the first thing we've got to do before we move forward, I just need to ask you some mandatory health questions. So let me go to that really quickly and ask these questions. Have you ever been treated or advised to be treated for alcoholism or alcohol abuse? Been a member of AA or been advised by a physician to reduce alcohol consumption? Okay. Has any proposed insured ever used drugs not prescribed by a physician, such as cocaine, amphetamines, barbiturates?
I think he stopped the video because that's where he stopped me at.